welcome back to Guillotines and Guitars. We're switching gears to guitars. That's right. Went straight into 6-string fanatics.
Yep. Yeah.
Unless you're in
Trey loves PRSs.
I do love PRSs. I'm not a PRS guy mainly, but yeah, I love PRS guitars. Used to have a great one, and if I could find it again for a good price, I'd have it again.
Anyway.
Yeah, see, you thought you were going to stump me by saying that, didn't you?
I did.
That's all right. I came right back. I was ready for you.
Our topic, Chris.
Our topic is guitars. I said guitars.
No, you didn't.
You did.
What the hell is a guitar?
I don't know.
That's a massive ass guitar. All right, we're talking about the most iconic album covers and the story behind them. That's what we're talking about.
The store behind them.
The story. Yep. The store. Yep.
Dollar General. They was coming up everywhere.
Brick and mortar.
All right, you ready? I got a shot for you if you want to start this.
Let's please get a shot. I would love a shot.
Wait until I tell you what this is.
I would love a shot. LL Cool Trey. We appreciate you, man.
We do.
Oh, and of course, look at Scott flipping the coin to the guitar side.
I've already done that.
Yeah.
All right. This second segment, the Guitar segment.
I did say that. Didn't I?
For the Guitar segment, we're drinking one of probably my favorite drink. I've got a lot of favorites, but this is definitely one of my favorites, and it's seasonal. This is Crown Royal.
This is how I know Halloween's here.
Yeah, it's coming. It's seasonal from Crown Royal, but this is the salted caramel. This is where it all started for us, and we got the Old Smoky when Crown started putting them in the stores.
Yeah.
Crown's back
Old
with
Smoky
it.
had the salted caramel.
Cheers, boys.
All right.
Salted caramel. Oh, yeah. It is fall.
That song was going to have some booze in it, buddy.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah.
John was right on the money with that.
You got the Hulkamanias and the Macho Manias. What the hell? Look at my nipples. Shut up, Trey.
That thing. It had a
Man,
kick
that
to
thing
it.
got a kick. It's still kicking me.
I tell you what,
I'm going to send Chuck Norris down my throat in a minute if he don't
I
stop.
like the Old Smoky. I like the old Smoky salted caramel.
Right. I didn't think about that one.
He said he was
Chuck
going to send Chuck Norris down his throat.
Salted caramel down my throat. Is that what I said?
Yeah. You said you were going to send Chuck Norris down your throat.
That is so nasty.
That's what you said.
I know. And then you mentioned being salty.
What are we? Let's go to the topic.
That tasted salty.
What do you usually say, Chris? This show just went off the rails.
That went right off the left-hand rail there, buddy. We're talking about album covers. We're talking about the stores behind them. I mean, hell, I'm looking at one right now. You know, it just blows your mind. You know, it makes you question it. What the hell were they thinking putting that on an album? You know,
I know which one you're thinking about. And actually, before I saw the little thing right over your shoulder, when I saw what you were looking at, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it shows everything. It really does.
There's a lot of stories about. I think we've actually talked.
It's
about,
a boy.
I think we've actually talked about this album cover and some.
We probably have
legal stuff surrounding it, but that's okay though. I mean, it's a iconic album cover.
Yeah, and
he's got an eggplant and two granola bars.
All right, yes,
granola bars.
Let's just not go there.
All right, come on. All right, what we got? What you got, Scott? Tell me what
starting.
you got. Yes, he's starting. Right on you.
Okay, I'll start. One of the most, I think for me, most iconic album covers that, to me, that I like was Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power. That's the album cover that shows the guy's face with like the fist punching him, and you can see his lips. I mean, you can see like the power of it. Like it
captured him getting punched.
Yeah.
Now, was that photo taken for that album cover? Is there what's the background behind?
That photo was actually the way when they were working on the album, and actually a cool thing about the name of the album was Phil Anselmo, the singer for Pantera. He is actually a big horror fan. He likes horror movies.
Ooh.
He was watching The Exorcist, and there's a line in The Exorcist where the possessed girl says, "That's a vulgar display of power."
Oh.
And he was like, wait a minute. He rewinded the movie. He was like,
that sounds like an album cover.
He's like, I like that name, vulgar display of power. He's like, I like that. And so that's where he got the actual name of the album was Vulgar Display of Power. And then he was like, he was telling the record company, he was like, because we want to call it Vulgar Display of Power, I want it to have like, it needs to be something like a vulgar display of power. I want it to be like somebody like punching somebody, you know. And so the record company put some things together, and they sent back like a guy with a boxing glove, like it was a boxing match, punching somebody in the face, you know. And they were like, "No, that don't. It don't look right. It don't do what we're looking for, you know." So the record company come back and said, "Okay, why don't we take the boxing glove off,
the bare fist,
the bare fist," and so that's what they did, and they actually liked the concept of that. So then they started working on doing the actual picture. But and what's cool about this is that Vinnie Paul, the drummer for Pantera, started the rumor that it was a fan who got paid $10 per punch, and it took like 32 takes until they got the right picture. And he started that whole rumor, which wasn't true at all. But I mean, it grew and grew and grew, and that's what people thought. It was a Pantera fan who was willing to take a punch and
cut 28. That still wasn't right, man.
It was from
we got to get more volume in your face.
But Vinnie Paul was like, you know, and Phil Anselmo, the singer, you know, for Pantera, was the one who was punching the guy. It was like we took like 32 takes until we got the right one. He's like, we paid this guy. He was a Pantera fan, and we paid him like $10 per punch.
$10 per punch.
But none of that is true. Yeah, it was just a.
All right, so this is a wash.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of it was.
Why are you telling this?
Because
I'm sucked into this whole damn thing.
That was what most people thought it was.
He just explained the whole thing.
Vinnie Paul started the rumor that this is how the album cover took place, but it didn't. Anyway, so the photographer who took the actual picture said it was a model they hired who was taking the punch, and they hired a hand model whose hand you see, and he said nobody actually got punched. He said it was all they did all the photos in slow motion picture, and it was so none of it was.
I like the $10 a punch deal.
Well,
I wish that would have happened.
And I guess Vinnie Paul said that because it drums up more media,
and they should have kept it like that. That'd have been more awesome than. But
photography. So the Vulgar Display of Power CD, the album cover is it's a model. The guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he was a model. He never got punched, and they had a hand model who showed who did the fist, and it was just
the fist was a hand model's fist.
Yes, it was. They hired a hand model.
Like, last week they were doing watches and rings. This week we're punching somebody for an album cover.
But so it was, and that was all it was. And so they created the cover. And actually, the photographer had it in color, and he had a red backlight behind it. And he said the finishing picture, he said, looked so great. He said, and then when the album came out, he got sent the album cover, and he said they changed it into black and white where it wasn't in color. And he said the color version that he actually shot, he said, looked a whole lot better. He's like, I don't know why they changed it to black and white. The record company did that. He said, I don't know why. He said the original that I had looked a lot better, and now it's out there. People are trying to find the actual original. And
I was just about to say, I wonder if at some point they wanted to get the original and put it out like as a best of album.
I would love to see that.
And now it's gone, and the actual photographer, he gave all of his proofs to the record company, and they're all gone now. He don't even have a copy of it. And I'm sitting there thinking,
what kind of photographer doesn't keep copies of every photo they take? Every photo.
I thought, you didn't keep that, but apparently
you keep all your negatives.
We don't do negatives anymore. We're in the digital world now, but I still have a copy of every photo I've ever taken.
I'm thinking, if you're taking the photos, you don't have copies of them.
Yeah.
Apparently,
but
for whatever reason.
But Scott, I will say, to go along with what Chris just said, back then it was all negatives. It was film. So there's a good possibility. I mean, that's a physical thing that's really easy to lose. So it's possible to not.
And I can see.
And it's possible to completely just lose it in.
Well, and anyway. I can see in that situation, he's getting paid for a job, so he hands over all the film.
Well, but in some cases, he still owns the copyright. He still owns the copyright of that photo, even though he sells it.
Well,
he licenses it.
Apparently, he doesn't, or I would think he would have it. So,
but we don't know how the license worked out. The copyright.
Maybe he was, the record company said, we own all the rights. You don't own anything. And so maybe that's what he did, was he handed over everything and didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But to hear him talk about, he was like, the full color picture looked so much better. He said it was a red light in the background that shined. And he said it made the whole picture just look.
Yeah.
He said,
well, that's too bad he doesn't have it.
Well, I know, but he said when he got the actual album cover sent to him, because he was a photographer, he's like, it was black and white. He said he was very disappointed. He said, this is not at all what, what my vision was. He's like, but that's what they went with. I mean,
too many hands in the fire.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so I mean, I thought that was a cool,
Oh yeah.
The whole thing of it, when you look at the album cover, you can see the guy, and it actually looks like he's being punched.
Chris just did the thing that we were talking about earlier, where he wasn't paying attention to anything you said.
I was paying attention because I was about to ask questions.
I know you about to say, yeah, Troy, that was a good story.
I didn't. I purposely didn't put the camera on him just now while he was looking at his iPad.
I didn't do my homework, so I've been doing my homework in class.
And then he turned around right then. When you folks at home just saw the camera go to him, that was when he turned around to look at Scott and goes, "Wow,
that's great. That's a great story."
It was great. I've been listening the whole time.
I know you have been.
But what you just saw, though, is exactly how
about
in classroom.
Paul McCartney.
I've been doing my homework in classroom.
But Paul McCartney coming up with an album cover, though, was that, you like that, though? The whole situation with Paul McCartney?
He's from Nirvana.
Paul McCartney came up with what album cover?
I was trying to
Led Zeppelin.
Chris.
I totally missed it. That went over my head. Sorry, Scott.
From Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
Paul McCartney wasn't in Pantera, Dick. I know what you're trying to do.
No, but he came up with the album cover. That's what I was.
Paul McCartney.
That was Paul McCartney's fist.
I'm not listening to none of y'all. I'm not listening. I will go back through this episode and listen to it, and I will answer any questions you may have after I listen to it.
You heard it here, folks.
You ain't tricking me tonight, buddy.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm still reading, so Trey, you go ahead with yours.
Okay, I'll go first. My favorite album was favorite album cover. Actually, there were two. I just thought about this right when I was going to say it. One of them is Led Zeppelin. I don't remember.
Is that a guy that?
Hold on. You look at your iPad. One of the Led Zeppelin album covers, and I cannot remember it right now. I want to say it's 3, but it might be 4. So back in the day, I mean, I know albums are coming back now, but back in the day when that's what they were, this was a white colored album, and it had a cardboard disc, paper disc on the inside or outside of it that you would actually turn, and there were little cutouts inside the front of the album cover. And when you turn the dial or turn that disc, pictures would change. Pictures would move into those little holes. I thought that was really cool. Like
that is pretty cool back in the day.
One cool thing back then, they would have album covers that would open up and you'd have
pop-up pictures.
You'd have pictures in the lyrics and that kind of stuff on the inside.
Eureka's Castle.
Yeah, but this one was a cool album. I've still own this album, but I just can't remember which one it was.
You still own this album?
Yeah, I got a stack of old albums.
The disc shit that you change colors with.
Yes, I have the album cover that you turn the disc.
I'm gonna need to see that.
In the front of the album, in the front of the cover, there's little holes all around, strategically placed holes in this artwork. And when you turn the dial, the disc,
Connect 4, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You can't beat me at Connect 4. Remember that? That's right. You never have. You never will. Anyway, so that was one of my favorite covers. But then the other one that stands out the most actually was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That was my
Sgt. Pepper.
That was my favorite. And actually, when I did some research on, because I always knew I've got it up on my screen in front of me, but I always knew a bunch of these people that were on the cover, but obviously I didn't know them all.
It's a lot of famous people.
Lots, but a ton of people that I didn't know. And real quick, I'll just go through a couple, just glancing at the ones that I recognize. So obviously, right in the center behind the bass drum are the Beatles, but to the left side of the picture are the Beatles from the 50s and 60s, where they're in their suits and ties. But you got Marilyn Monroe, you've got Laurel and Hardy, Edgar Allan Poe, Marlon Brando, and then obviously
is he messing with it? He said Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar.
That's not what I didn't say. Elgar.
He said Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, he was on the cover.
Yeah.
On that album.
Now
they had a lot of famous.
Now he didn't show up for the photo shoot.
That's what I was tracking. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead. I got you.
Yeah, we have to remind ourselves that Chris is younger than we are.
It's a drawing. The actual.
Yeah, it actually it reminds me of a Monty Python style graphic.
That's what it looks like.
Why did you?
Do you know?
Now I got to Google this word.
You Google the
Monty
word
Python. You've never watched Monty Python?
Is that a word or is that a thing?
Monty Python was
a show,
huge comedy show,
comedy show back in the
70s.
I wasn't back in the day with the projectors with you fellas. I was in the TV age.
No, but do you know that the Sgt. Pepper album cover? You know how much it cost to make?
I did not.
I didn't know you know this.
$65,000 back in that day.
I am in the wrong business because I could have done this in one day.
That was no, but you know why it cost that much?
Why?
And I didn't know either.
License.
Getting
licenses for their images
for the images of the famous people on there, because they had to go, whether the person was still alive or dead, go to the estate or to the actual person and pay them for their likeness on the album cover. And I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to do that, but apparently you do.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, so
a lot more did.
You put Edgar Allan Poe on there,
Marilyn Monroe,
or Marilyn Monroe. Their estate,
Karl Marx,
is gonna. You have to pay them to have their likeness if you're putting something out like that. So that's why the album cover costs so much. I was thinking
that makes sense. I didn't think about that, but I guess that would.
It does. That's a cool little
$65,000
back
was
in,
a lot.
That was back then.
That was 19.
That was like $1 million back then.
Probably because that was 1967. Wasn't Sgt. Pepper's come out in 1967? I think.
Oh boy,
I think so. But and also with the Sgt. Pepper album.
And by the way, Chris, I have this album too.
Where do you keep them?
I can't tell you that.
Where do you have? Is it behind your battleship canoe?
Also, the Sgt. Pepper album was the album where all the rumors started about Paul McCartney dying.
That was where I was going to
car accident.
So I was going to say this too. If you look at the album cover on the bottom of it, the way the Beatles the name is written, there are flowers. It's like all a bunch of flowers out. And they said so part of that rumor was that they were at Paul McCartney's funeral. And this was his grave, and so these were all influential people.
Yeah, and you had
that were here.
If you look
celebrating his life.
If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the album, some of the flowers make up the left-handed bass that he always played.
I'm not seeing that.
It'd be the right-hand corner of the album. The yellow flowers, they make up his left-handed bass.
I did not know that, but I'm seeing that now.
Yeah,
Scott just learned me something.
And also
because I knew the part about the rumor of it being Paul McCartney's funeral, but no, I never paid any attention to the fact that those flowers were
if you
left-handed guitar.
It's a left-handed bass, and that was one of the myths that people were talking about. That's a sign that he really died. They're having him in flowers. The shape of his bass, and also
that's crazy. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Also, if you look at the bass drum in the middle, that has the Sgt. Pepper logo on it. I read, and I hadn't actually looked at it, but if you take a mirror, if you're looking at the logo, and now
play it backwards.
No, if you take a mirror,
you'll hear devils.
If you take a mirror and set it in the middle of the bass drum, like if you had the album cover, lay it on the table.
Okay,
you take a mirror.
I'm listening, but while I'm listening, I'm going to take a photo and flip it.
Put it in the middle of the bass drum. It reads like 119. He died is what it says, which is apparently when Paul McCartney supposedly died in the car crash. Which I mean, we obviously know Paul McCartney never died in a car crash.
Well, I just took a photo of the bass drum and flipped it. I don't see a 119. He died. I just see a backward bass drum.
Myth busted, Scott.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
You got to actually take a mirror where it mirrors one side of the bass drum.
Oh, I see. You put a mirror in the center.
Yeah,
Trey will be doing that when he gets home.
Take a mirror, set it like here in the middle of the bass drum, and then you read it where it's reading back that one side.
We'll do that
now,
later.
And like I said, that's obviously we know none of this is true because
do we?
Yeah.
Do we know this? Because I saw a picture that they posted. It wasn't that long ago, actually, where they talked about his earlobes are different now. Like they used to connect to his ears or to his neck, and now they don't, or they used to not. Now they do, or something like that.
It was there was. Also, you had a lot of people talking about this. Is like I say, back in 1967, there was no internet. There was no cable TV. You had the three major networks. I think TV was basically new back then.
Yeah, I mean, we were the remote controls.
Yeah. So I mean, you didn't have information readily available at your fingertips like we do now. But
did you go to the library?
We did. You can go to a library, but
did you like to look up something cool
I
from a
wasn't
band?
Around back then.
How did you find these fascinating articles?
I found them.
You had Spin magazine.
I'll tell you what, Chris. Actually, like a lot of this stuff was just talked about so much that you didn't have to go to a library or go to some special
that's
group.
How it was back in the day.
Yeah, we should talk to each other.
It just got around. Huh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Did you hear what Scott said today about the damn
that was the way things
chili
were
pepper,
back then,
the pepper, Sgt. Pepper.
But I mean,
chili peppers.
But that album, though,
everybody's got mirrors now going around high school.
everybody had that album too.
Yeah. And that was the rumors that were going around. It was just like, and even the Abbey Road album, which was in '69, come out 2 years later.
Oh, and it got picked apart because everybody. Why is he barefooted? Why does he have a cigarette? Why is the cigarette in his left hand or right hand?
Cigarette was Paul McCartney was left-handed.
Right. Why is it in his right hand?
On the album cover, he was holding a cigarette in his right hand. So
everybody read into that. Everybody, that means something.
That and he was barefooted.
Right.
And also each on Abbey Road cover, each member, when they were walking, their left foot was first. Except Paul McCartney.
Right.
Paul McCartney's right foot was first.
I love this topic.
He was the only one.
I am all in.
Where his
this is what you guys talked about?
Yeah, but no, but
I love it. I'm not picking on it. I love it.
No, I mean, there was so much going on, and there was also on the Abbey Road cover.
Everybody was dressed up except George Harrison. He was wearing all denim.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means he's leaving the band. It means he's not part of the band anymore.
I can see that.
It was all kind of stuff.
It means something, damn it.
But there was a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yep.
Sitting on the side of the road.
Oh, I bet that just exploded.
The license plate read, I can't remember what it read.
But it was also not parked like on the road. It was parked up on the curb. And the Volkswagen Beetle is spelled different than the Beatles.
Yeah. There's so much to it. I mean, like, people were going crazy. They're like, oh, Paul McCartney has died. They got a body double to replace it. I mean, that was what people were saying.
Body double forever, yeah.
Yeah. That it wasn't Paul McCartney. It was a body double.
Yeah, you think conspiracy theories are bad now with the internet and everything? They were just as bad.
Conspiracies. I'm so interested. Like, as y'all went and talked about it, I was like, damn, I wish I was there in that age. I could put my little spin on it.
Now, you got to remember,
that Beetle didn't have a hubcap. You know what that means?
Also, keep in mind, this is before me and Trey now. I mean, this was in the 60s. So, I mean, you talking about, like, me and Trey were sitting there talking about this. This was before our time.
We were there. We were standing in line to buy the album when it came out.
Well, where was y'all when Kurt Loder come on the TV and said, Kurt Cobain is dead? Where was you at?
I think I was at home when I remember.
So you went to school?
What? I don't remember when it happened. I remember maybe when it was announced, I might have been at school.
Trey, where was you at?
But I remember I remember getting home, and I used to always watch MTV and all. So that was where I first heard about it.
I saw it that night at home. So I don't know where I was during the day, or I don't even know like what time it happened and all that. But I know that I was at home.
Well, I didn't watch it. I just wanted to know where y'all were. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, see, so our parents have JFK. We have the Space Shuttle Challenger and Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. I mean that. When I was little, I didn't have internet back in the day. When I got to middle school, that's right. That's what I was about to say. When I got to I was 8th grade when the internet finally boomed. The AOL and the You Got Mail stuff, it bloomed. It was like a bam. All of a sudden, we had computers, Mac computers in front of us.
It happened so fast.
Did you know that me and your brother had internet before, like a lot of people had internet?
No.
Yeah, because I figured out a way to dial up his computer. I didn't figure it out on my own. Somebody had taught me like this thing. And so from his house, we would talk on the phone, and I'd say, okay, so hang up the phone because I'm getting ready to call you through the computer. And we could actually do little chat messages, like it would come up. I don't remember how we did it, but I would call into his computer from my computer, and we could write each other. It was like, hey, how's it going? Good.
And then, I bet that was the coolest thing.
It really was. Like, it was so simple.
Oh, it's so
God. Simple and like prehistoric when you think about it now.
Because like, hey, mother.
No, we were. I don't think.
Yeah, I remember the chat rooms.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I was a lesbian for a long time.
I was like,
I told her I was on an America Online chat room one time.
America Online. Yep.
I got double B's. I got a fat ass.
I was on an America Online chat room one time.
I don't stink.
I told everybody I was Jeff Foxworthy. Yeah. So the whole group thought that I was Jeff Foxworthy, and they were all because Jeff Foxworthy was the biggest thing at the time, and and they were like, tell us a joke. And I'm like, if you. But I would type out, I would make up some stupid joke that I thought would be a funny redneck joke, and I would tell it, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's really him. And then there was another time actually that I was in another chat group, and I don't know what this was.
You was a lesbian.
This was like 1990, 91 or something like that. I told everybody I was Howard Stern. I don't know why. It was just like, but you could even like
I had a different mindset than you.
You could set up a bunch of names, so I had like all these names that I could log in as, and it was like, the Howard Stern, the Jeff Foxworthy.
I was double D's
ridiculous.
Danielle.
You probably were. You probably were.
But that's crazy, though.
I can see you doing it, trying to get the guys in there to talk to you.
So y'all's technology back in the day, speaking of the Beatles deal, it was word of mouth. Everybody
that was all it was.
Just got to talking about it, and stuff started getting spinning.
Back in those days, and that was before our time. We're talking about the late '60s. I wasn't born until mid 70s, so so this was before I was born, but back in
the news alert days, that's what I call a news alert.
You had back then, you didn't have cable TV.
Man,
you didn't
Kurt
have
Cobain
you didn't have
blew his head off today.
Yeah, you didn't have 50, 60 channels like you do now with cable TV.
Yeah. Your dad would kick you, and that's when it means you turn the channel.
You had the three major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS,
MTV.
No, MTV wasn't
AMC.
Yeah. No, that
MTV
was
special.
That was it.
BET.
It was ABC, NBC.
You're also talking about a time where rumors could spread before they could be debunked.
Oh,
yeah.
So a rumor could take off and just go like wildfire before the
the
media could find it.
Which they often
This is the perfect
did.
question to ask. This question. This is perfect. It's right here in line.
Do it.
How did you hear about the Leonard Skinner crash?
We were babies.
Y'all was babies.
I don't.
You don't remember that?
I heard about it.
It was 1977.
Did you see your mom and dad like crying or anything like that?
It was 1977. We were literally babies. Like
just born.
Yeah.
So I read about it 10 years later. I think when I was, or 15 years later when I was old enough to, start comprehending stuff like that.
So I misunderstood how old you guys were.
Yeah. No, you just don't know your timeline of events. No, like what I was saying a second ago.
Challenger?
Hold up, that's what I was going to get to. So our parents, like the breakthrough, or not breakthrough, but the life changing moment. Where were you when? So our parents would be JFK. Where were you when you found out that? So, but our generation, for me at least, I think would be where were you when you found out about the space shuttle? So
I remember.
So I'll say for mine, I was actually at home. It was a school day, but I was at home because I was sick, and I will never forget. So back then we had this giant console TV.
Oh, yeah.
The big 27-inch or whatever, but it was
speakers, and you could use it as a coffee table too.
But it was a coffee table.
Yeah.
It had the cable box and the rabbit ears and everything on top of it. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, so I was homesick, and I was sitting down because I was always a big space nerd anyway. So I was sitting down watching the news, and so I actually saw it all live. So you guys were in school. You weren't in school. You were in preschool.
No, I was sperm.
You were in diapers. Yeah, I guess you were. You weren't
trying to make it to the egg, baby, and I was the first one. If you ain't first, you last. That's what I was telling myself.
So you made it.
All right, go ahead.
Hell, who told you that, Ricky Bobby?
No, but I remember being in school when the Challenger blew up. I remember back then they had the TV on the cart. They would roll with
a VCR.
Boy, you knew when that thing rolled in, you was going to have a good day.
Yeah, they rolled it out. And I remember watching it in school, watching the replay on TV, I was like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, it wasn't cool.
Damn, what's that plume of smoke? Is that supposed to be like that?
Yeah. But
did you say? Really?
No. But
damn, that was awesome.
You said you still had the people on the ground who they couldn't see. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they
People
thought it
on
was
the ground were
they
still
thought it was
clapping.
part of the
like,
show.
They were like, yeah, it's going up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They accelerated so fast that it just blew a shit ton of smoke out the ass end of it.
Hey, it's funny. It's funny Trey mentioned the Challenger, though. Do you know? Well, no, well, I know it's not. No, but it goes back to what we're talking about, our topics with the guitar
Album
topic,
cover. Yeah.
about album cover.
We have ripped Ray off the ledge on this one, but go ahead.
But this brings it back full circle. Do you know that the Axl Rose for Appetite for Destruction, that was what he wanted for the album cover, was the Challenger, the explosion.
Oh, really?
He wanted that for the actual album cover.
Oh, shit.
Well, I'm glad that he picked what he did, or because that is such a much more like it's such a cool. That's a tattoo.
He presented that to the record company, the Challenger, the explosion, and they were like,
"The hell's wrong
They were like, no, we can't. We're not doing that,
Boy, what the hell wrong with you?
Wait, who was it? Who, I don't mean to jump into that one, but who was it that had the album cover and they wanted to be a bunch of baby dolls that were ripped apart and had like bloody limbs, and they went with something else? Was it the Who? That's who just popped in my mind. But I don't.
I think it was the Who.
And then Led Zeppelin did have Led Zeppelin Houses of the Holy. I think did have the naked children climbing up the rock hill. You remember that? I have that album cover.
I think so.
I have that album too.
Damn, that's deep there. Shit.
With album cover, there's so much stuff going on. But Axl Rose actually wanted. He wanted the Challenger, where it exploded. It exploded as the album cover, and then when the record company.
Oh, welcome to the jungle, baby.
Well, and the record company
we're coming back down to earth. Quickly.
But the record company was
like, it's too soon for that. Stop.
The record company was like, no, we're not doing that. So,
I agree with him.
Then he found this painting of which is what's on the inside cover of the album. Where the girl, on the ground with her panties around her ankles.
That wasn't Steven Adler's girlfriend, was it?
No. No, it wasn't. But it had the robot guy standing over, and this other kind of creature jumping over the fence with the knife for the
I remember
teeth
that story.
or whatever.
Yeah,
that was what Axl Rose wanted. After the Challenger thing was turned down, he was like, "I want this painting."
That's insane. I had no clue.
He wanted that painting, and the record company was like.
You should listen. You should listen to the show. Go back and look at these.
But and so the record company's like, we're not doing that either. Because,
I'm gonna stop drinking so I can learn something.
Because it has the girl down there with her panties down here. It's like this is like an assault on a woman. No, we're not putting that on the album cover.
This just took a hard left.
Actually, that painting was the album cover when they released it, and then it was pulled.
Yep. Yeah, I remember something about that.
And so that's when they come up with the cross with the skull heads. Yeah. And they put that on the inside cover. What was actually the album cover.
Let me throw this in before we go over to Chris.
Last call.
Oh, I love last call because we get a drinky. We get a little drinky. And what are we drinky?
We started this segment off with Crown Royal, but we are ending this segment with Fireball.
Lame dandy Fireball. I thought I was going to get something special. Like caviar.
Yes, it's caviar.
Caviar Crown. Cheers, guys. Heck of a show. Woo.
I thought it was going to have some booze in it, buddy.
Yes, it did, John.
That John's right every time, isn't he?
I tell you, he's right on time every time.
God almighty, it did have some booze in it.
So mine is, of course, Nirvana's Nevermind.
All right, that's it for the show. I think we're done.
Y'all are such dickheads. You know, everybody's waiting on my topic. You know, I'm the man.
Nobody's waiting on your
Hey,
topic.
thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you being here. My name is Trey Davis. That's Scott Barfield, Chris Hicks. Carol couldn't be with us today. We've had a great show tonight, boys and girls. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time right here on... we forgot about Chris. Chris, go ahead and tell us what your album cover is.
You're such a dick.
Go ahead, Chris.
So mine is Nirvana Nevermind cover, of course, because that was very constant because it showed everything.
I like that because never mind. Yeah, never mind.
Well, never mind.
All right.
Well,
close it out, Trey.
Well,
we done.
It first started off with everything, but they edited it without the sphincter. I'm out the sphincter. The eggplant. Yeah, they edited out the eggplant.
Just stop.
So
Yeah. What the hell are you talking about?
His name was Spencer
Pratt.
Eldon. Spencer Eldon. The baby on the front of the 1991 cover. Nevermind.
And we talked about this before, and we talked about how this dude lived off of this for so long, and then all of a sudden said, "Wait a minute, I'm offended.
Yeah.
I'm suing.
I can make some money on this."
Yeah, they just throw his ass in there. Please don't drown, but we're going to take the coolest picture in the world. That's just about what happened.
Didn't his mom like agree? Or was it both parents? Or was it just the mom or something? Like somebody told him, "Yeah, you can use him for it." I don't remember. We talked about this before.
I know. But actually, I think they used like 4 or 5 babies that they took them.
It gets worse and worse.
They threw them in the water. They were like, throw them in the water. Let's take some pictures. And that was the one they ended up that Kurt Cobain liked, I guess. And they added the dollar bill and fish hook later.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that later.
Yeah, you think?
You thought they dangled a dollar bill and run the baby? You're like, come get it. Here it is.
Baby.
And the baby's like,
Me money, boys!
That's a perfect picture of Scott. Give me my dollar back, boy. But that's an iconic photo, but it's got a lot of stuff there. I've been reading it over here the whole show, and there's just tons of information and tons of lawsuits. God almighty, it freaking, like, what I'm reading is still going on today.
Well, yeah,
because that guy decided that he was finally embarrassed by it. But every year or every anniversary of the album would come out, he would make sure to go get his, and I don't mind saying this, man, but he would make sure to go get his little bit of fame. I'm the baby. I'm the one that was on it. So he'd get in the pool every year. He
gets royalties.
He might. He probably does. But every year he would personally take it upon himself to put himself out there and make sure everybody knew he was the one that was on that. And now all of a sudden he comes back and goes, "Oh, I'm offended and I want money."
I think he has a tattoo of the album cover.
Imagine getting a tattoo of your own stuff on yourself.
I think I remember.
I got one.
I think I remember reading something about Dave Grohl.
You got a tattoo of me on your.
Because Dave Grohl has to, because he's part of the band, he has to go to these hearings when all these lawsuits come up.
Dude, I bet he just rolls his eyes like.
And I think he's the one who told me. He was like,
He told you?
Well, not told me personally,
sorry,
but
I caught that one. He's the one that told me.
I read it in an interview. Okay, but I think that he said that the guy actually has a tattoo of the album cover, like on his body. He's like, the guy's suing us now.
Yeah.
After 30 years.
Yeah,
and it's like, he's got a tattoo of the album cover on his body.
But you can look up online and you can see pictures of him where he's recreated that photo for the last however many years. I mean, he's been doing it forever until now he decided not to do it anymore.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's I hate to say without knowing anybody, but I mean, it seemed like a money grab.
Personal question.
Yeah.
If that was you, you would support it, wouldn't you? I would.
Support, you mean?
The whole album. I'm like, hell yeah, that was me. I'm just saying, if that was me, I would not give any of them. As long as I got my royalties, by the way.
I'd have to embrace it and
I'd embrace it.
I want tickets.
I want
box seats.
Yep.
Because I'm spoiled. I don't want to sit back here with. I don't want to sit back here with the riffraff because you'll probably put my picture up there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't want to sit back here with Consume. I want to be up here. I ain't gonna say it. We ain't going there. But man, I was so embraced it, and as I've been reading, this kid has been raising some hell about it, and just causing controversy.
I read that too,
and I don't understand that.
He was fine with it for the first 20 years, and then
and that's the thing. He didn't remember this exact moment.
Well, no, I can understand too. Now you becoming an adult, and now maybe there's you're getting into a. Well, I don't know what his personal life is like. Like I don't know what kind of business he does or what he does for a living or anything. But maybe you could get into situations where that would be embarrassing for you.
So you sit in your office.
But at the same time, like it already happened. You've been embracing it for so long. You've been pushing it just as much as the band pushed it.
Exactly.
If not more.
At some point, you got to go, yeah, I did that. That was me, or I didn't have any control over it. That was my parents that made me do
it. That's the thing. I mean, at the time, he was a baby.
I'm about to settle this.
All right, this has been a hell of a show. It was just us three amigos tonight without Carol Gannon. We miss him. We wish he was here tonight talking about members.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Carol, we miss you, Carol.
Yeah. All right. Man, we had a hell of a show tonight. We thank everybody for listening. We thank everybody for following us. This is season 2, cut 3, and we are out.